Good morning, friends. Today we're going to read Little Bee's Journey. So this is a folder story, a magnetic story. So I'm going to hold up the pieces so that you can see them as we read along. This story is by Pam Schiller. Little Bee was excited. This was her first day to join the older bees to help gather nectar. She was now old enough to be a productive member of her colony. She loved flowers. She loved her friends. She just knew she was going to love this day. Little Bee followed her mother and sister out of the beehive. She got her first view of the entire garden. Up until now, she had only been able to see a small area that was filled mostly with roses and a tall tree that held a cardinal's nest. Mama Bee waggled her tail, which was her way of directing their flight. Little Bee followed close behind. She remembered the rules. Stay close. Be alert. Don't stray. Keep your eyes on Mama and watch her movements. Soon, the three bees joined dozens of other bees in a patch of bottlebrush. Little Bee loved the red, furry blossoms with tiny specks of yellow on them. Little Bee worked her way deep into the center of the flower and began sucking the nectar and filling her honey sac. This wasn't work. It was fun. She heard her mother buzz by and saw her waggle to provide directions to more flowers. How exciting all this was for Little Bee. On the way to the next flowers, Little Bee saw some purple zinnias. She had never seen such a lovely sight. She thought she might have time for just a little bit of purple zinnia nectar. Without telling her mother, she landed in the middle of the zinnias. The nectar was so delicious she couldn't stop drinking. She filled her honey sac. When she finally looked up, her mother and sister were nowhere in sight. Suddenly, Little Bee was very afraid. She raced from the zinnias and began looking everywhere for her family. She saw many bees, but none of them were hers. Little Bee felt a burst of air rushing against her wings. Something was snapping at her. A huge dog was trying to snatch her right out of the air. Her heart raced as she zoomed quickly out of reach. She was so frightened. She flew fast and furiously, but she had no idea which direction she needed to go in order to find her mother and sister or her home. Little Bee felt tired. She was all alone. She spied a branch by the pond with lots of green leaves that created an umbrella of shade. She landed on the branch and began to look around for anything she might remember. All the rules her mother had given her were racing through her head. Oh my, she had only herself to blame for getting lost. She heard chirping above her head. It was Cardinal. She had seen him before by her hive. "Excuse me," she said. "I am lost. Can you help me?" The Cardinal looked at her and shook his head. "I don't think I have ever seen you before." "This is my first day out," said Little Bee. "I have lost my way. I can't find my mother. My hive is very close to your nest. I watch you bring food to your babies." Said the Cardinal. "Do you think you can find your hive from my nest?" "I do," said Little Bee. "Okay, then follow me," he tweeted. Little Bee was still tired, but she knew this was her best chance of getting home. She followed the Cardinal. When they reached his nest, she saw her hive. "Thank you so much for helping me get home. I will never forget your kindness," said Little Bee. The Cardinal gave a wave of his wing and then landed quietly and carefully on the nest that held 4 new baby birds. Little Bee flew into the hive and cried when she saw her mother's worried face. She told her mother she was sorry and would never again forget the rules. She said, "I will stay close, be alert, never stray, and keep my eyes on you." Mama Bee hugged her baby and kissed her tears away. The end. I hope you guys enjoyed that story. I will be reading to you more very soon. We miss you. Bye, guys.